So how can you tell if you're straining your voice when you sing? This is something that we worry a lot about as singers because we want to keep our voice healthy and beautiful for a long time. Today I'm going to share with you 3 signs that you can look for to see if you're straining your voice when you sing. Coming up. Hi all and welcome to Singgeek. My name is Ronja Peterson and I'm here to geek out on your voice. This video is all about helping you avoid vocal strain so that you can keep your voice healthy and beautiful. But first, what is vocal strain? Strain on your voice happens when your air rubs against the edges of your vocal folds and this creates friction. To understand what happens here is usually that the muscles in your throat that they tighten up and this tightens the vocal folds and then they can't move freely with the air and the air rubs against the vocal folds instead. So that's what creates that tension, and when you hear people sometimes say stop singing from your throat, that's usually what they mean. Stop tightening the muscles in your throat. So why are we scared of this friction between the air and your vocal folds? Well, when this friction happens, it creates heat and it causes your vocal folds to swell. You can actually feel this heat created if you rub your hands against each other. You can feel that it gets warm. Yeah, that's what happens in your vocal folds. Now, this is actually pretty common that this happened to you. Like maybe if you're at a party and you're talking loudly, or if you're at a game with your friends and you're yelling at your favorite team, that's pretty normal. You will feel your voice is a little swollen the next day. You might be a little bit hoarse, but it will heal in a few days, and that is perfectly fine and okay. The thing to worry about is that if this friction happens a lot, your vocal folds and your voice, it doesn't get to heal itself. And so you keep having this swelling that goes again and again, and that creates calluses. And this calluses, it turns into these bumps called nodes or nodules. And that's when some singers, they start feeling that they're losing some of their range or that they get this unintentional raspy voice. So let's learn to recognize these signs of strains so that this doesn't happen to you. The first way that you can try to figure out if you're straining your voice is by looking at yourself when you're singing. If your veins are popping here when you're singing, that's usually a pretty good sign of strain. As I said before, you're trying to control your voice with the muscles in your throat. Instead, put your shoulders down, connect with your breast support and let your voice get controlled with your air instead of from your throat. Another sign of strain, and I've said this before in previous videos, if you're locking your jaw and tilting your head back and you're singing, yeah, 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 that's a big sign of strain also. You want to level back your head and let your jaw hang loose, make room for the notes. Yeah, let it come out. Hello, hello, no, hello. Let the sound come out. The second way that you can tell if you're straining your voice is by being aware of how you feel. I sometimes have people that they come in and they tell me, I had someone say, my voice feels on fire when I'm done singing. Or someone said, I feel like I have this lump in my throat when I'm singing. Or I hear people say, like, I have to push out my voice. Those are signs of strain. It shouldn't feel like, like you're going against something or like you're pushing to sing. Instead, it should feel like you're supporting your voice with your air and that your voice is sort of falling out effortlessly. That is how it should feel when you're singing without strain. I think this can be hard for a lot of people because especially the people who really want it actually. I meet a lot of singers that they put so much force because they want to sound like their favorite artist and that they're working so hard. And this is one of those things where sometimes actually if you lay off the effort a little bit and let the voice come out and just enjoy your own sound, then it will teach you to strain less. A third way that you can use to tell if you're straining your voice is by listening to your voice. Listen to your sound. You can pretty often hear if you're yelling or if you're singing. If you're going, hello, then you're yelling and you're straining. Or if you're going, hello, then you're singing. There's this brilliance to your voice when you're singing. This sort of nice, brilliant tone when you're singing. A way that you can listen to your own voice is if you go like this. This is how your voice sounds to everyone else. I made another video about this also. But if you go like this, usually you can hear that brilliance in your voice. And you can adjust your sound to this voice, and this will help you to not strain. It looks a little silly. Sometimes my bandmates will make fun of me if I start going like this. If I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm straining my voice. I need to get back to that sound that I know I love. I'll go like this. So try that out. Now you know how to look for signs of strain. Let's talk really quickly about how to avoid strain in general. There's some situations where it happens more often. So the first one, and this is the one I had to learn the hard way, is if you're in rehearsal and you can't hear yourself, most people, they start yelling. This is so bad for your voice. So talk to your bandmates, it's okay if they think you're a bit of a diva. That's how it is, they have to be able to hear you. Your music will sound better. They should know how you sound in the mix. So ask them to turn down, or if you have a very hard-hitting acoustic drummer, then turn your own mic up a little bit. Get used to actually singing healthy and hearing your voice healthy with the band. So another thing you can also do is sing in front of a mirror. Look at yourself. You will be so surprised. You'll be like, oh, I thought I was having good posture. I thought I was using my diaphragm. Use that mirror to be an investigator. Let it help you figure out, oh, the veins here on my throat are actually popping a lot more than I thought they were. Use that mirror. The last thing that I think you should do to avoid straining your voice is record yourself. I know it can be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, but if you get used to hearing your voice and if you get used to knowing how your voice sounds when you strain, and you can record yourself in your songs, then you can pick out the phrases where you're straining, you can take them out and you can practice them. And not only will this help you not strain, this will help you become such a better singer. This will take you to the next level because you will sound better, right? So record yourself. That's my last thing that I think you should do to avoid strain. If you have any questions for this, please ask them in the comments below. Some of you guys have been super active with this and it is awesome. So just continue to do that. And if it was your first time here today, I invite you to subscribe. Join us every week as we continue to geek out on your voice to create the sound that you want.